Morning everyone, thanks for joining me on this Sage Intelligence reporting webcast. Today we're looking at X Factor Report Writer Series, Part 5, creating a management pack using the layout generator. So what I want to do is I want to give you all the tools that you need and knowledge that you need to create management packs using layout generator. So what I'd like to cover today I want to take you through using the latest financial report designer and why it's important to do so. Also, how to create the layouts inside the layout generator, talking to more the row sets, as well as looking at the creating a master template and how you can actually then lock that master template so others can make copies but not necessarily mess up the one that you've created. Then I'm going to talk about how you can give the user options of generating layouts, and then finally how you can customize the copy of the master template further. So jumping right in, okay, we're looking at the latest financial report designer. Now what I suggest you do is before you go in and create a template, I would ensure that you've got the latest report designer, remembering that if any changes need to be any changes have happened, that would then be placed, the new financial report designer would be placed on the report utility tool, which is found on our Sage Intelligence website. So you would go to sageintelligence.com, and from there you would click on resources, additional reports, and you would select your integration, and then from there you would go to your financial reports. If there's a new financial report designer, you'll find it in your financial reports, and if you're not sure, maybe just log a call with support to confirm that, or pop me an email and I can let you know what the latest version is. I also like to use the report utility tool, okay, to also get some ideas on how to create or what types of layouts I may want to create for my management pack. So what I've done is I've downloaded an income statement, balance sheet, and a trial balance, and I'm going to collate those into one management pack so that I can then reuse those layouts over and over again. Okay, so creating a layout in the layout generator. The first thing I would do is I would run out a financial report designer, and I would set up all the row sets that I need. Now, a row set is a group of rows or accounts that you have grouped together, and you've given them descriptions within the row sets section. Then you can use those row sets to create multiple layouts, remembering that if you change one row set, it will then change any layout that is using that particular row set. So it's a good way to keep your reports up to date. And one of the things that we promote quite a lot is that you use a category group or account group that you are reporting on. Therefore, you can actually ensure you've always accounted for all the GL accounts in your GL ledger. Then, once you've done that, you can then create your layouts in the layout generator, and they will become available for the users in two areas. The first one would be the Quick Generate in the BI Tools tab, and the other place would be in the Layouts tab in the task pane. So for the Quick Generate in the BI Tools tab, they'll just go to BI Tools tab, click on Quick Generate, and select the report there. What it does is it then creates a new worksheet and places that new worksheet with the layout inside your Excel workbook. Exactly the same thing happens with the layout generator, slightly different. Some integrations, if you click on the link inside the layout task pane, it will then generate the report for you automatically. And other financial report designers, you may need to click on the link and drag it into the Excel workbook. Anywhere, it doesn't make a difference, because just like the layout generator or the Quick Generate reports, it then creates a new sheet and places that new layout in that sheet. So you're not overriding anything there. And I'm going to show you how to use these and create these layouts using the layout generator. Now, reasons I love the layout generator is because you can reuse the reports over and over again. Also, a lot of people have show account details except for X3, And what this allows and accounts for, if a user is going in and they're constantly adding new or additional accounts, you may just want to create a layout that they can generate quickly and will account for those account details. If, for instance, you're in X3 and you're wanting to show account level details, I would suggest that you create a template either from report categories or account categories, and then once you've pulled it into Excel, then add your account level detail. I do have a few other webcasts for X3 as they are slightly different. Okay, then I'm going to take you through locking the master template. Now, a lot of the times people come to me and they'll say, oh, I've given a report to my customer, but now they've gone in and they've made changes. And they're saying that it was never working. So what I would suggest you do is you always create a template and you lock that report for them. Okay. Now, what we've given you the functionality is to lock the report so they can't make a copy and they can only run the report out, which isn't really user friendly, but there's an option for you to do that. There's also another option where you can lock your report and then select unlock report on copy. This allows the user to keep a template that they cannot change inside the report manager, as well as keep a report that they can then go and customize and maybe add an account level row or maybe add additional charts if they need to. So it gives them a little bit more flexibility inside the Excel workbook. So how you do that is basically you click on Show Advanced on your Report Properties tab, and then you select Unlock Report on Copy, as well as Report Locked. Okay, if you select both of those and then click Apply, that will then allow the user to import their report as locked on their side. When they right click and make a copy of that report, it is then unlocked exactly the same way as we would do it for our out-of-the-box reports. Okay, so you may want to just elaborate how you would generate layouts for your customers. There's different ways. You can actually allow them to do it via the BI Tools tab, where they can regenerate layouts when they need to. You can actually save layouts already produced inside the Excel workbook, because they will be updated automatically if you've used our formulas. Okay, you can use the task pane, which will then give you access to just click and drag that in. And then you've got an additional page that you may want to create. So you've gone in and created the layouts inside the Excel workbook. So say something specific and they want you to use a specific color. You've gone and created those layouts inside the workbook. They've generated, and as you can see at the bottom there, it's income statement, actual year to date, actual versus prior, and actual versus budget. Now, all I've done here is I've gone in and added a link on a menu page. So they can just click and flick to those particular sheets. So what you can do is actually close or hide the BI Tools tab and close the task pane. So they would just navigate using those hyperlinks instead of actually using the layout generator or flicking through the bottom of the tabs. Then I just want to cover again during the session is it will be customizing a copy of the master template. So for me, I would, as writing reports and sharing reports, I would create a template for myself to use. So with every possibility that I want inside that particular report, financial report, designer report, and I would then name it a template and maybe management accounts. From there, I would then make copies for the individual clients that I need, and then maybe rename it to the particular client's company name, and then customize it for them. So if they're only looking for income statement, remove the layouts that aren't necessary for them, but you've locked your report so it's safe. You would only change the customer's report when you make a copy of that and rename it. So these are the kind of ideas I want to give to you to actually make your life easier, and to say that if you put all your efforts into that one template, you can then reproduce or copy that report and create additional reports really easily using the layout generator. Okay, So the first thing I want to show you is the report utility tool. So where you get this report utility tool, and this is where you download additional reports. You can also download updated financial report designers reports. If I go, okay, as I mentioned, you go to sageintelligence.com and you click on resources, and there you can see additional reports. Once you're there, you'll find that your integration will be listed, and you can click on it and it will then take you to this page, which is your integration specific and all the reports that are available for it. From there, you would then click on the financial report designer or financial reports, and you'd see if there's an additional report there saying the financial report designer report. If there is, confirm that you don't have it already. If it's the same numbering at the end, then you know you've got the updated one. If not, and you're still not sure, let me know, or pop your support an email and ask them for the latest copy of that report designer report. Once you've downloaded and started using the report utility tool, what you need to do is you'll open it up because it saves it to a desktop icon. You double click on that. It will then open up and it will check your report manager to see what reports you have. Now, I've already gone in and I only selected the reports that I want to basically view and actually get ideas from. So I selected the, where is it now? The trial balance. I've selected there's also a cash flow one here to show you. There we are, report designer cash flow, and I've downloaded them into my report manager. So inside my new folders, okay, those reports will now be available for me to run out and use. So I've run these reports out for us just to have a look at them and to see what ideas we can get to create a layout from those already generated reports. So for this particular one is the balance sheet. You can see you've got actual year to date, okay, and it's pulling in category numbers, okay, with your details or descriptions that you've given it, and it's using a closing balance formula, and it's going to create a percentage as well for that. It's also got some charts, which obviously you would have to do in Excel. But this particular layout we could create inside the layout generator. Again, actual versus prior. You can go have a look at it. You've got the category group, and then you've got your group name. You've got closing balance, and it's just looking at the different years. So one is current year and one is previous year. And then you've got a variance value and a percentage, as well as an actual and a budget. And then your different variances. So you can get ideas of how you want to create that balance sheet of yours and maybe give a few different options. Same with the income statement. Yeah, you have your category level again, as well as your actual year to date. So it pulls in all movement up until that period and calculates it for you. And it's got a chart in Excel. Here you've got the 2 previous years. So if I double click on that, you can see one is looking at 2020 and the other one is looking at 2019, allowing me to compare years, which is quite a nice one. I may want to create that inside my layout generator. The other one I want to show you is the trial balance. Again, just pulling in the details that you need, and you've got closing balance for actual and closing balance for prior, and then a variance on that. Okay, you can also see the calculations on how this was calculated. So it'll give you an idea of how you want to create your actual layouts in the layout generator. So what I would do for starting off, okay, I've gone and confirmed that the designer report that I have is the latest one. Okay, so I'm going to create a new folder. So I'm going to click on my home node and I'm going to add a new folder. Okay, there's my new folder, and I'm going to copy this report so I can unlock it. And I'm going to paste it on my folder. And there I have my report, a copy of my report designer. Now, what I do suggest you do is maybe keep the versioning of this in here or in the description of this particular report. That will then allow you to actually go back and see if you got the latest version. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that, and then I'm going to rename this to management accounts template. Okay, I'm going to click apply, and I'm going to assign the template name, the report name, to the template name. So I'm going to click OK, and you can see that's now been updated. Over here in the description, I'm just going to add to the end that version of that particular report so I can see what version I have. Click apply again, and then what I can do is run that report out. Depending on the integration, obviously, again, you may have parameters or you may not. Now I've run this report out for us already, so let me just go and open it. Okay, and this is the standard report. And another reason why I would suggest you go and get the latest report is they may have already added additional row sets to the layout generator. So why reinvent the wheel if they've done it for you? So go check out that financial report designer on your report utility tool or your additional reports. So to access the layout generator, there's two ways to do it. You can go to the BI Tools tab and click on Edit or New or Generate your layouts, or you can click on Manage Layouts. Manage Layouts is exactly the same thing you would do or get when you click on Manage button in the task pane. So if I click on that now, this is a way to basically remove layouts or create layouts. So in this particular template, I would create all the different layouts that I want to be able to use for my clients and provide for them and offer them as a service. So if they don't necessarily need maybe 4 of the different templates, I can then remove it from that copy that I've made. So what I want to do now is I want to generate the reports. So when you generate a report from a layout, you can click on Quick Generate and click on the actual layout, and that would generate in a new sheet. You see there? So if, for instance, this one has account level details, okay, I know I've gone and added accounts to my general ledger, and therefore I need to regenerate this. I can do so, and then it will populate in the next tab. So let's just change this to 2020, and my layout is updated. Okay. So that's a way that a user can automatically update missing accounts by just regenerating that layout if they are happy with the layout the way it is. You can also generate those layouts using the task pane layouts by clicking and dragging it in, and like I mentioned before, it will then generate on a new sheet the exact same report. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to talk you through the layout generator, how it works, all the functionality that it has. So to do that, I'm going to create a new report from scratch using what we have. So to go to the BI Tools tab, I'm going to click on New Layout, and I'm going to give this a name. So I'm going to say Income Statement, and you can call it anything you want. 1 to 12. I'm going to say actual. I'm going to click OK. Now I have my layout generator open, blank. So I can now go in and create the layout that I want to use and I want to now show inside my Excel workbook. So the first thing you need to do is go to your layout options. From here you would select the company that you want to run the report for, your physical year. Okay, so I know it's going to be 2020, and I'm going to select a currency as well as a currency type, which is going to be functional. You can set up structure codes and budget sets and reporting trees, but we'll just leave those alone for now. Okay, then once you've done that, okay, you can decide whether this is going to be a show account level detail or not. Okay, so everyone has show account level detail except for X3, okay, and they also have show subtotals at the bottom. if I'm correct, exclude zero rows only is found in some of our integrations. So just see if you do have that. Just something to note on that exclude zero row details is that if, for instance, you generate it now, next time you have a report and you've actually viewed it into your Excel workbook, it may be missing accounts. Okay, so it's also then hiding any accounts that you have now added values to. So that's why you may want to regenerate it if you are using this exclude zero detail rows. So I'm just going to say show account level details for now, and I'm going to text columns. Text columns is basically what you see here is you got your account or your account attribute, and then you've got your row description. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to go to my columns. Now I love columns, okay? I think we've given you loads of functionality here to use, and I'm going to take you through some of it, okay? Almost all the integrations has a current period, okay? Where you can actually set up a report to pull in what the current period is, and then you can actually report on that. Okay, you can also use actual current year to date, and then you also got the prior periods as well, which is great to use if you're wanting to allow the user to just click and drag a report in and get it generated automatically. So to click and add columns, which are these columns here, let me just move this down. You can see over there, you can either go in and select the individual items, okay? You've got the formulas, and then you've got calculations. So if you wanted a variance, you can actually go in and put the variance in as well. So if I had said, if I just remove that, go back to formulas. So I've got actual current period and actual current budget period. I can go to calculations, and I can go variance for current period, actual versus budget. So we've given you a few calculations to actually go in and use. Now you can also add spaces just to make it neater. So I can click and drag that in, and you can click and drag all the fields around in the areas or column areas or row areas that you need. Another great thing that you can do here is you can create your own calculations. So if you wanted to go in and add a percentage, you can then do that by going add calculation and then creating the calculation. Okay, so if I went down, I could say, you can select your different actual periods here, and then you can divide by, say for instance, another period or formula, and then you can set it as a percentage by clicking on the percentage sign over here. You can also enter a value, so if you wanted to divide it by a certain amount, so when you're creating your KPIs and you want to work out certain calculations, you can do so using the layout calculator for the columns. That will then just get added to the bottom of your calculation selection, and you can go in and then add it to your report. To remove anything from here, you just need to right click, or you can just click on the field inside the window. What I really do like about the columns, okay, so if I just click on clear all, I'm going to go down to add columns. Okay, if I click on this, it allows me to quickly go in and add all the different columns by period, okay, which is quite cool. I don't have to go and then generate each individual one. Another thing that I like about that, if I just click on clear all, I can go in and add multiple columns. So for the years, if I tick in this tick box over here, I can select actual, I can select budget, and I can select prior. Click apply and click OK. You can see how it's actually added all the periods or formulas into my columns and actually put them in the correct period. So you don't have to go in and then move them across by clicking and dragging. If you want to place an additional column like a calculation, I can then go into calculation, find the variance that I want. Okay, so variance 1. I'm going to click where I want it, and then I'm going to click on the field and it places it in the right place. So that's an easier way to do it. Otherwise, What you can do is if you add it, it goes to the back, and then you just click and drag it and place it where you want it. Obviously, the clicking is a lot easier to place those variances in. Okay, so I'm just going to click clear all, and I'm just going to add the actual columns 1 to 12. So click apply, click OK, and there I have my actual columns 1 to 12. Remove that one. Okay. Now what I want to do is I actually want to move to my rows. So this is where I'm saying set up your rows sets as much as possible. Okay, so set up an income statement one, a balance sheet, a trial balance, and set them as generic ones using the category codes that have been set up in your integration. Therefore, you can actually apply it to any one that you're creating a report to. Okay, so I'm going to click on row sets just to talk about these row sets now. In this particular one, you've got an income statement and you've got a balance sheet. If I click on the income statement and click on edit, you can see for Sage 300, it's using account group categories, and you can actually type in whatever name you want over here, and you've got your rules by category there. Now that's not stopping you from actually creating a row set with specific accounts, and I'll show you one that was created in the balance sheet. But for now, we're only going to stick to the category levels. So if I go back, click on balance sheet, click edit, you can see there is all the balance sheets, and I'm happy with that. Okay. Yes. So if I go back to my layout, okay, and as you can see, those are two separate tabs. If I click on the magnifying glass, I can then select income statement, and it populates with all those rows that we created inside the row set. So I can then go and select and add them to my report. Once I've done that, okay, you'll see that I've got little arrows there. Okay, these are on my accounts that I want to reverse the sign. Obviously, my revenue is kept as a negative in my integration, so when I report on it, I actually want to flip that and make it a positive so it looks neater in my layout. If you don't want that functionality, all you need to do is right click and toggle switch sign, and that comes off. Okay, so depending on how you set up your layouts is how you can actually pull the data. If you do, however, remove that formula, remember our calculations have included it as a positive and not a negative. Okay. What we've done is we've also created reports for you, and if I click on right click edit, okay, you can see I've got revenue minus cost of sales, and because revenue is a positive, it's automatically going to subtract the cost of sales. If you had reversed the sign, so it's still sitting as a negative, you don't want to minus your cost of sales, you may want to sum them up instead. So just be aware of that. Then I can go in and add my different calculations, and again I can click and drag this up to where I want. There we are. Again, if I want to add any spaces, I can do so by clicking on the row and then add a space. Okay, and for your calculation for your rows columns, sorry, before I forget, you can actually change the variance. So if I go into one of these variances here, do you see how you have a set variance? In this calculation, it's actually been selected, which will mean that if the budget is higher than the actual, it will show as a negative or red. And if the actual is higher than the budget, it will show as a black, which is a positive. Okay, this just allows you to look at the count, see if it is a good variance or a bad variance, and this will automatically set that for you, which is really great, so that you don't have to go in and do that inside the Excel workbook as well. Just remember to tell you that. So once you're happy with your calculations, okay, and all your rows have been set up, you need to save that layout. Where did it go? There we are. Save my layout. And now what I can do is I can generate it into my Excel workbook. Remembering that this new layout will now be added to my layouts over here and my BI Tools tab. So I'm going to click on Generate. And there you have your layout already created. So now we've created that income statement. Let's go and create that balance sheet inside the BI Tools tab. So BI Tools tab, I'm going to now click on a new layout. Okay, and I'm going to type in balance sheet. Click OK. And I'm going to go in and enter in my details firstly for my first layout, which is Sam Limited, the year, currency, and currency type, which is functional. Click OK. I don't necessarily need my account level details, but if you want to, you can tick in there. Your text columns, I'm going to select my account attribute and the rows. And my columns, I'm going to select closing balance. So you can search for closing balance. So if I type in here closing, and then I go search. Okay, and I can scroll down and I can see what closing balances I actually have over here. So I'm going to then select closing balance for period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 12. Once I've done that, I can then go in and create my rows. Okay, so click on rows, and I am then going to select my balance sheet. As you can see, there are the balance sheet rows has already been set up to basically reverse the liabilities and that for me, so I can then generate this layout quickly already. All you remember you need to do is identify the categories or the row sets that you've created that you want to reverse, and you just right click and then toggle the switch sign. Okay, so let's go up and add these in now. Okay, so I now need to go in and create some calculations. I may want to add in just at the top here assets row that will just basically hold a name. I'm going to click on add calculation, put 0 there, add value, save, and I'm going to type in here assets. And if I click on that, I can then go and add that as a header instead of having a formula in that particular row. Okay, then what we want to do is we want to take the cash, accounts receivable, inventory, and other current assets and add them together. So inside there, I've already got a current assets, total current assets. So let's go move that up. Again, I may want to add a spacer. There we are. Now I've created my layout. And it is easier if you start from scratch, because then you know what calculations you have already created. So once you've set that up and you're happy with the format of your rows, you can then generate that layout. So you would click on save, and then it gets added to your task pane and your BI Tools tab, and then you click on generate. And then you have another layout to offer your customers. The other one I want to just create to show you the functionality of copy and paste in row sets is the trial balance. Okay, so I'm going to click on BI Tools, I'm going to click on New, and I'm going to name it trial balance. And I'm going to click OK. And I'm then going to go in and select my data again. I don't want to show account level details, so I'm happy with that. But now what I need to do is go to my text columns, select my details that I want to see, and I'm going to my columns, and I'm going to select closing balance, and I'm going to select, yeah, I'm happy with that, prior closing balance for period 1. Okay, now you can also set them for the whole 12 months, but I'll just select those two for now. And then I'm going to go to my rows. Now currently, if I go to row sets, I've only got an income and a balance sheet. The balance sheet one is almost identical to what I need, except I just need to tweak it slightly. So I'm going to select the balance sheet one. I'm going to click on copy, and I'm going to name it trial balance. And then click OK. And there you have your trial balance. It's exactly the same, but when we create our layout, we're going to not reverse all those fields. Okay, so I'm going to then click on my layout design, and I'm going to select my trial balance. And you'll see it also comes with the calculations there, which is actually quite nice if you're creating different types of row sets. So what I want to do is I just want to untoggle all the signs. So what I want to pull in now is going to be my cash, my accounts receivable, my inventory, and other assets. Then fixed assets, depreciation, other, and accounts payable, other current liabilities, long-term liabilities, other liabilities, shareholders, and shareholders' equity. Then I want to put a space, and I want to create a calculation. And I want to add all those together. So I'm going to just go and add them. So we got a calculation there to add those together. Fixed assets.
And last one.
And save it. Click OK. Under calculations, you'll see it's been added. Then I'm going to add another spacer. And then I'm going to go back to my rows, and I'm going to add in all my income rows. Okay. Then again, I'm going to add a new calculation, and I'm going to sum up those as well. So it's going to be revenue, cost of sales, other revenue, other expenses, depreciation, gains, interest, and income tax. And click save. Again, give it a total name, subtotal name, and then I'm going to click OK. Again, I'll find it in my calculations. So now all I need to do is go and click on it, and it'll be added to the end. Let's just add some spaces there to make it neat. And if everything works accordingly, it should all balance out when I generate it now. So I'm going to click on save. Again, it will be added to my list. I'm going to click on generate, and it's great when it works. Here we are, and there. So you can then go and just make it gray. And there you have your trial balance. If, for instance, at any given time the user needs to go in and regenerate, they can do so. Or if they want to see account level detail, they just go into Manage or the BI Tools tab, select the trial balance, for instance, and click on Edit. And then just tick in Show Account Level Details. If they save that and then generate that, okay, you can see you can then expand that by clicking on the 2, and if you click on the 1, it collapses all the accounts again for you. So it's really easy for the user or the customer to go in and regenerate that if needed. Now, mentioning the calculations, okay, or sorry, the menu in the front. So if you wanted to, you could insert a new sheet. And you can actually just make life easier. If you've already generated it, if it's at a high level, category level, it's not going to need to be changed. You can generate those layouts inside this Excel workbook, okay, and then give it to the customer to use. So I would just say select, if you're wanting to go this way, select link to navigate, okay. And all I did is I basically right clicked, rename, copied that, pasted it in here. Let's just do another one, okay. And then I right clicked on that cell, oh sorry, not drill down, and I hyperlinked it to somewhere in the document. So if I scroll at the top, you can see all the layouts I've created. So the first one was the income statement, so I'm happy with that. And this one over here, hyperlink again, move it to the top, click OK. And now the user doesn't necessarily have to click on here because the layouts have already been generated inside the workbook and they have them. Okay, so let's go and remove this one over here because I don't need that. And I'm happy with everything else there. Okay, so I'm going to go and save this back. Now, I know we've been saving the layout generator every time we go in and create a new layout, but if you don't save the Excel workbook back to the report manager, it's not going to save. So click on the report manager, click on our new report that we renamed, and click on Save Excel Document. Okay, make sure you select the correct one, okay, and that's why it's important to select the template name and the report name the same. And my report has now been saved. So with all those layouts inside this report I now have. So what I would do is I would always lock this report, create a copy, or when you unlock it, and click apply. It's going to ask you for a password, so I'm just going to enter just 123, and you would have to enter it again. And now that report is locked. But what's great is that you can now send this to your client by clicking on your report, export that report to your desktop, and then email it to them. Okay, so I'm just going to save it on my desktop. And then what I can do is I can then import it on the client side. Desktop, I have to scroll down. There we are. Open. It's going to import locked, okay. Obviously I have one already, so let's just save that. I'm just saying to use the same templates or data containers. So now when I double click on this, I've got two locked reports, okay. That one there is the one I've now imported, and I can now unlock this by right clicking and copy and paste inside that folder, and there's my copy. Okay, exactly the same way as if I was you, if I was going to create a copy for a client, I'll just rename it and then send it to them, and they can make a copy of that particular report. Okay, so once you've done all that, you can then either distribute those reports if you need to, knowing that those reports are now locked, and if they need to have any changes, they can then come back to you and say, listen, I need these changes made, or they can make it themselves because you've selected to unlock on copy. Okay, if you want more information, we have loads of stuff on the connector module, as well as integration specific layout generator webcasts. All you need to do is go to the learning portal and you select your integration, and then you'll go into intermediate where the financial report designer playlists are found. If you want more information, you can go to youtube.com, Sage Intelligence. You can also go to sageintelligence.com, and that's also where you'll find our learning portal under resources. And you've also got sageintelligencecommunity.com. And then finally, Sage Intelligence Academy, where you can upskill yourself and become certified Sage Intelligence user. We love feedback, so if you found this webcast useful, please do like it and share it on your social media channels. Thank you.